Good evening, ladies and gents. Here we are with Tardis console model build diary number 10. I'm guessing it's 10. I think it's 10. Now what I've done today, as you in the next video, and here is my unusual drying method. Yes, that's right. I currently have a Tardis console drying in the sun. It's perfect weather for to dry paint, especially with sun like this. Just because I do all my spray painting outside, I spray paint and then put it in the sun to dry, and it's perfect. It's currently raised up a bit with the help of some tweezers through the centre of the console, and then pressed out, and then pushing it up, holding it, because I've spray painted the bottom as well, because like I said in the previous video, the base doesn't cover the entirety of the top underneath, so I'm having to paint the base as well, just to make sure it's covered and so you don't see any white bits underneath the console. I think that's going to be the final coat of grey now on this console. I think I'm happy with that. I could go on and on and on and on all day with it, but I think that's happy. I'm happy with that now. I'm just gonna smooth it off. I'll leave it to dry for a day, then I'll smooth it off, polish it up, and that'll be that console ready to paint all the little switches. Oh joy. Obviously the base, that will have to have the indents painted a darker grey colour. I'm just going to have to do the masking off for that. So yeah, that's the grey colour of this console done. Next up, painting the controls, which you'll see that I took this afternoon. Was I spray painting, and it was a beautiful day, and the sun was just perfect for drying paint in the sun. So I did that. Now this is the final coat of the light grey that I'm using for the console overall. I also did some filling and stuff while I was painting, things like that, which I explained in that part of the video. So that's the final coat of grey that goes on there. The next stage now is to like polish it and smooth it all off, because obviously when you're spray painting, you're left over with like it's an uneven surface and a bit grainy. So you flatten it off with some very fine sandpaper, or some very fine sanding sponges, essentially, and you just take the graininess, the rough feeling off, especially if it's matte paint, and you give it a nice polish, nice smoothing off. So let's have a look at the console, shall we? It might not look any different to you, but it really is. Right, so here we go. So this is the final top coat now of this grey. As you can see, it's all nicely painted grey there. That's that, and as I said, this is the final top coat. Going to smooth it all off. Now, you may remember that I explained last night that that's obviously the bottom. Not bothering painting that. That I had to paint the underneath of the console around here, because the base didn't fit it flush. So obviously when if you did look underneath, you wouldn't see any unsightly white areas around the edges. So I've painted that. In here, these ridge sections in here are going to be painted black, so we don't need to worry about the paint that's missing in there, because they're getting painted black anyway. And the base around there, that's been painted the grey colour, and you don't need to worry about this inside section, because that's getting painted with an airbrush, a darker shade of grey. So as you can see, like down here, it looks like I've missed some. No, that's getting painted as a darker shade of grey. So there we go. It's all nice and smooth, and you might see a glistening sort of effect there. That's just because I still need to sand it off and smooth it all off and everything. That'll be gone. So that's not to worry about. So yes, there we are. That's that console painted that grey colour. Once I've smoothed it off, I can then start painting all the little buttons. I bought the paint for that today. It's a green, a blue, a red, and a yellow. So yeah, I'm going to experiment and practice a very steady hand is going to be needed and required for this, because you have, I mean, just look at the size of those buttons, just me pointing at them. Exactly. So I'm just going to have to be very careful painting those. The screens for the monitors won't be too difficult to paint. They'll be fairly straightforward. Like I said, some of these the box areas around here have a red lines around them. Now, to better explain, he's a very rough model that I procured quite a few years ago now. It's very rough, but I can explain what I mean about the red boxes around certain switched areas. Can you see here where it's faded? Around that you have areas like that have red areas around them, like that. So I'm going to have to do that on this too. So yes, so that's to come. And underneath, this better explains how it's going to be. So for the underneath of this one. So for example, it's on here. It was painted. I never painted this, by the way. It was painted by somebody else, but it's painted a darker grey. It's actually should be black. So I'm going to be painting that black, and you obviously got these spaces here. They're going to be the light grey colour, so they're going to be kept like that. So yeah, that's how that should look essentially. And the spaces in there are going to be painted red. Those are going to be painted red in there as well. So yes, that is the next stage of that console now. The other console is still being sanded. It's very close to being finished to be sanded, and then the priming can start. Don't think I'll be doing that tomorrow, because tomorrow we are going out. Where are we going, my darling?
We are going to go, Flynn. We're going to go catch the Hogwarts Express.
Yes, we are going to the Hogwarts Express. The place where you see the Hogwarts Express going in the Philosopher's Stone. And it's a train station in Yorkshire called Goathland.
Yep, so it doubles for Hogsmeade and the films. So
yeah,
that's where we're going. It's been quite a Harry Potter related week.
Yes, it has. It's also sort of like the area where TV series, if in the United States, you might not know. You may not know. There's a place where a TV series in the UK was called Heartbeat. That was filmed there. So we'll be going around there and then going on to Scarborough. So yeah, that's on the itinerary for tomorrow.
And Scarborough's been used in quite a few things as well.
Yes, it has. So yeah, that's on the itinerary tomorrow. So there'll be no console build diary tomorrow.
It's an adventure diary tomorrow.
It's an adventure vlog tomorrow. So that's why I pushed to get the final grey top coat on this console tonight. So yeah, that's it. If you have any questions, again, just ask me in the comments and I'll reply straight away. No problem at all. I'm still getting used to these build diaries, because I'm not used to doing them. I usually just crack on building stuff, whereas this way I have to stop, film something, then stop filming, then carry on. So yeah, I'm still getting used to it, but I'll get there. With that being said, I'm going to say good night, and we will see you tomorrow. Bye.
Bye.